This video was sponsored by Morning Brew. Hey, happy Friday. This week OnePlus released the very confusing OnePlus 10 Pro. The Exynos 2200 basically vanished, it disappeared, and Google announced a very exciting new radar project. We also have a quiz, of course, with 20 brand new questions again. That is linked down in the description, and welcome to the Friday checkout. Okay, my release highlights this week include the Honor Magic V, which gave us yet another interesting looking foldable that you can only get in China. Then this Logitech Litra Glow, which popped up with lots of good reviews for a light for streaming or just looking okay on Zoom. And the Sony Xperia 5 Mark III that just emerged in the US for $1,000 9 months too late. Oh, Sony. To see all of the new releases of the week, head on over to the Release Monitor in the Crowd app, which you can find down in the description. Okay, my first story of the week is going to be the OnePlus 10 Pro, which was announced in China at the beginning of the week, and man oh man is this a confusing launch and just a confusing device. So odd. So first, this is a China-only device for now, with no exact international launch date even announced yet, which is a first for OnePlus, at least as major devices go. OnePlus was always positioned as the most international brand of the BBK group, so this is really odd right off the bat. Second, there's only a 10 Pro, not a regular 10, at least not yet. And third, the phone feels like everything but a Pro model this year, with questionable updates over even last year's models. So as you would expect, you of course get the new Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, the new LTPO 2.0 display is interesting as it can go all the way down to 1 Hz for preserving battery, and 80 watt wired charging is faster than last year, which is nice, but not much else. And oddly, the cameras, which are supposed to be the main focus for the brand, actually look like a step down from last year. The main sensor appears to be the same one as last year, so no real upgrade there, and the ultra-wide actually uses a much smaller sensor this year. I hoped that they would at least use the new in-house Oppo ISP maybe, but not even that, so unless OnePlus does some black magic, I expect the results to be kind of just meh. The design I don't actually mind. I like the sort of sandstone finish on the glass that is supposed to be very scratch resistant, and overall I'm sure this is an okay phone, but it just didn't feel nearly as ambitious as previous OnePlus flagships. If at least the prices had gone down this year, I would have been a little bit more forgiving, but based on the Chinese prices that doesn't seem to be the case at all. They're basically the same as last year, so I don't know what's going on. It's supposed to be a Hasselblad camera phone, but the cameras, at least on paper, seem worse than last year. It's supposed to be a Pro model, but there aren't any ambitious Pro features. And if OnePlus just tried to really show their original core audience that they don't care about them particularly, then launching this phone in China only at first is like a great way of achieving just that. Of course, the most likely explanation to why all of this is just so confusing is that OnePlus simply decided to pivot away from our audience this year and made entering the Chinese market its main priority to capture all of the lost market share of Huawei over there. Hence why this phone is primarily made to conquer that market and doesn't really make sense when viewed through our lens. And if you'd like to hear more about that, I'll have a TechAltar video explaining the economics of country-exclusive launches very soon. Okay, and my next story is going to be about the Exynos 2200, which of course is the upcoming new flagship mobile chip from Samsung, which this week basically just disappeared. So the story is that Samsung was planning to launch the chip on the 11th of January, which of course was this Tuesday. It announced the event a few weeks ago with a tweet from the Samsung Exynos account, complete with a teaser video, and the launch was official, but then nothing. Tuesday came, Tuesday went, there was no announcement. Samsung quietly deleted the original tweet, and everybody went like, what? As you would expect, the rumor mill went pretty wild pretty swiftly, with the first rumors suggesting that the Exynos 2200 would no longer be used in any of the S22 series that are supposed to be launching on the 9th of February at all, and that Samsung would basically just go for the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 in all markets. Samsung quickly tried to deny the rumors by telling Business Korea that, quote, "We are planning to unveil the new application processor at the time of launching a new Samsung smartphone," and that, quote, "There are no no problems with the application processor's production and performance. But that, of course, didn't stop the rumors. Ice Universe, for example, posted that the AMD GPU might be the problem, saying that the expected target operating frequency of 1.9 GHz couldn't be reached due to thermal throttling, limiting the chip to 1.29 GHz. Then there are leakers claiming that only the European S22 will come with Exynos, while all other markets will ship with Snapdragon, and it's just really hard to know what to make out of all of this. We will obviously have to wait until February to get some official news, and Samsung might just pretend like everything is fine and nothing actually happened, but that clearly can't be the case. I mean, I've held launch events for phone companies before, and you don't just cancel them if everything is going according to plan or unless something went seriously wrong. The Exynos 2200 is of course the most significant chip upgrade from Samsung in a long time, coming with the RDNA 2 GPU from AMD, as well as the new ARM v9 CPU. So sowing doubt like this in people's minds is not a great thing, and I doubt that Samsung would actually do this if everything was going as expected. Alright, and for my last story of the week, let's talk about Ripple, Google's brand new open standard for radar system development. And I know I can already hear you asking why the hell you should care about radars, but hear me out. So Google has been working on tiny radar chips like Soli in the Pixel 4 that was responsible for face unlocking, for example, since 2015, and about a year ago they announced something called Google's Standard Radar API. Ripple appears to be a rebranding of this API, and it's basically an open standard for small radars like Soli. This means sensor makers other than Google can make Ripple compatible radars now, and other companies can integrate any of them into a device using just the Ripple standards. Think of it a bit like Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, where it's a sort of standard that anyone can work with, and even the logo reminds me of the Bluetooth logo, which I think is probably not an accident. External partners to sign up include companies like Ford and the blood pressure sensor maker Blumio, and Ford, for example, plans to try using Ripple radars inside cars, for example to track touchless gestures to change songs or control the climate while driving, but other expected applications include, quote, contactless vital sign measurement and sleep tracking for home and clinical use, occupancy detection to sense how many people are in a space, or human activity recognition that can understand a person's position and orientation, detect falls, help direct pedestrian traffic, track exercise, and more. Google also specifically called this out as a privacy-respecting technology, which I guess they want to say because it can sense people and their position without necessarily identifying them. And you know what? This sounds like an innovative initiative. The code is also open source, it's up on GitHub, so I can imagine some interesting use cases coming out of this. Now, two other big news stories that didn't quite make it into my video this week were the $12.7 billion major gaming deal where Take-Two agreed to buy Zynga, the maker of Farmville among other things, and a fun stat saying that CD sales actually increased in 2021 for the first time in 17 years. So it's a good thing then that you can read all about these stories and more in Morning Brew, the free daily newsletter I read Monday to Sunday. Morning Brew covers tech, business, and whatever else is relevant in a format that's really similar in length and depth to what you get here on my show. There are similar topics too. The writing is current and witty, and it gets your day moving by being up to date. I read it while I drink my first cup of coffee in the morning, and I find that getting a hit of analysis with my hit of caffeine is a great way to start the day, and really beats morning doom scrolling on social media. Signing up takes like 12 seconds, it is also free, so there's really no reason not to sign up. Click on the link in the description and you'll be all set.